If I had slept those extra 10 minutes, none of this would have happened. No blue flashing lights outside my window. No detectives asking why my fingerprints were inside a stranger Euro's apartment. All it took was one wrong floor, one wrong door Euro. And suddenly, my life stopped belonging to me. My name is Mark, a Euro M32, and until last year I was boring in all the ways that keep you safe. Same warehouse job for 7 years. Same bus route. Same leaking hallway in the same tired building that smelled like damp concrete and someone else a Euro's cooking. I used to think routine was my shield a Euro. If nothing changed, nothing bad could really happen. The night everything went sideways started like any other overtime shift. We were unloading trucks past midnight, cheap fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the kind that make everyone look a little sick and a little older. My back ached, my eyes burned, and my brain was already halfway home, picturing my couch, my shower, my bed. Just 3 steps: hot water, food, sleep. Nothing heroic. Nothing dramatic. By the time I clocked out, it was close to 2 in the morning. The streets were empty, just the occasional car sliding past, throwing pale white streaks across wet asphalt. I walked home like always, hood up, headphones in, volume low enough to still hear footsteps if someone came up behind me. City habit. You don't even think about it after a while. I remember noticing how cold the air felt that night. It wasn't just weather cold, it had that still, hollow feeling, like everything was waiting for something to happen. If that sounds dramatic, trust me I didn't think so in that moment. Back then, my biggest concern was whether the takeout place still delivered that late. I had no idea that the most important decision of my life was about to be something as stupid as whether I took the stairs or the elevator. But that wasn't the first strange thing about that night. My building was one of those old concrete blocks where all the floors look cloned. Same cheap gray carpet in the hallways, same flickering lights, same beige doors with numbers that had been replaced so many times they never sat straight. Sometimes new tenants got confused and knocked on the wrong apartment. Sometimes the drunk guy from 3B passed out in front of my door instead of his. It was annoying, but it was normal. Usually, I took the elevator out of laziness. That night, it was out of order, frozen on the 4th floor with a sad piece of paper taped to it, out of order. So I took the stairs, half asleep, my mind drifting, my legs on autopilot. 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd. I lived on the 4th. Only that night, I didn't stop on the 4th. It sounds ridiculous when I say it now, but I swear my body just kept moving. My feet climbed one extra flight while my brain was busy counting how many hours of sleep I could get before the next shift. By the time I realized I was on the 5th floor, I was already walking down the hall, staring at my phone. The thing about my building is, 5th floor looks exactly like the 4th. Same color, same stains on the carpet, same burned out light near the middle of the hallway. If you half awake, and you done the same walk hundreds of times, your brain fills in the blanks. You don't look at the number on the wall. You just walk to a door. Theta what I did. I walked straight toward what I thought was my apartment, 4th from the stairs on the left. I remember thinking, why is the hallway so quiet? I didn't hear the usual TV noise, or the guy from 2D coughing, or someone arguing faintly through the walls. There was just this weird, heavy silence. And then I saw my door or what I thought was my door. Only it wasn't closed. It was slightly open. A thin, black line where the door should been flush with the frame. At first, I just froze. You know that tiny, sharp jolt of panic when something familiar looks wrong? Theta what hit me. The door was open maybe 5 centimeters, just enough to see darkness beyond it. No light, no sound, just a slice of black. My first thought was simple and terrified. Someone broke into my place. My heart started hammering. All the overtime pay I €1 hoarded, the second-hand TV, my old laptop, the few things I owned that mattered €1, I pictured them all gone. I pictured some stranger still inside, fingers going through my drawers. I pushed the door a little with my fingertips. It swung inward with almost no resistance, like the lock had never even tried to do its job. The air that hit me was cold and still, carrying that slightly stale smell of a room that had been closed up too long. It didn't €T smell like my place. That should €VE been my first clue. But here €S the thing about fear. It doesn't €T make you smarter. It makes you narrow. All I was thinking was, is someone in there? I slid my hand inside, feeling along the wall for the light switch, the way I €D done 1,000 times. My fingers found plastic, and I flipped it on. Nothing. No click, no light. The bulb was dead. The room stayed swallowed in darkness. Theta €S when another thought crept in, what if they cut the electricity? I know, it sounds paranoid, but at 2 in the morning, with your apartment sitting open in front of you, every movie you ever seen about home invasions suddenly feels like a documentary. I stepped inside anyway. Because Theta S what you do when you re stupid and tired and convinced that this is your space. You step into the dark and tell yourself Theta S fine. But it wasn't T my space. Not that night. I took a few careful steps in, leaving the hallway light behind me. The only illumination was that faint spill of yellow from the corridor, cutting a thin rectangle across the floor and catching just enough shapes to confuse my brain. A couch-like outline. A table. A chair. It all looked almost right and completely wrong at the same time. There was a smell I couldn't T place. Not rotting, not exactly. Just something chemical and metallic, faint under the dust. It made the back of my throat scratchy. Hello, I said, voice low. No answer. I took my phone out and turned on the flashlight. The narrow beam sliced through the darkness and landed on the floor first. A single chair, tipped over on its side. A shoe that didn't T look familiar. Some papers scattered near the coffee table. I turned slowly, and Theta S when the first icy realization hit me. The layout was similar to my apartment but not the same. My couch had a different shape. My table was closer to the window. That cabinet near the wall? I didn't T own anything like it. This was not my apartment. The hallway behind me suddenly felt miles away. I swallowed, feeling this slow, cold crawl work its way up my spine. If this wasn't T my place, then whose door had I just walked through like I belonged here? I shoulda VE backed out right then. Closed the door gently. Pretended it never happened. Instead, I did the one thing you re not supposed to do in horror stories or real life. I went deeper. I don't T know what I was looking for. Proof that this was just a mistake? A note on the wall saying, stranger, relax, this is all a misunderstanding But what I found was something else. My phony S light hit the far wall. And Theta S when I saw the photos. They were T framed, or neatly hung like memories. They were taped directly to the wall, overlapping in places, crooked and raw. Rows of photographs, printed on cheap glossy paper. Faces. Cars. Street corners. Apartment buildings. Some shots were zoomed in on windows. Others on license plates. It looked less like decoration and more like surveillance. I stepped closer, my shoes crunching on something small. When I pointed the light down, I saw plastic a broken memory card, or maybe a SIM tray, snapped in half. I nudged it away and forced myself to look at the wall again. The faces were T celebrities. They were ordinary people. An old woman carrying groceries. A young couple arguing beside a parked car. A guy in a suit smoking outside an office building. The sort of scenes you a forget 2 minutes after you saw them in real life. Except someone had frozen them. Chosen them. Kept them. In the middle of all those random faces, one photo stood out. It was bigger, printed on A4 paper instead of the small 10x15s around it. A woman in her 30s, dark hair pulled back, wearing a blue coat. She was looking over her shoulder, expression caught between annoyed and scared. Like she just heard someone call her name from behind. Under that photo, in messy black marker, someone had written a single word. A. I felt goosebumps rise along my arms. It felt wrong to be looking at this. Like reading someone A's private messages without permission except this was worse. This felt like standing in the middle of a plan I wasn't supposed to know existed. I heard myself whisper, what the hell is this, Theta when I noticed the table. There was a small table near the wall, metal legs and a scratched wooden top, like something stolen from a school or office. On it sat an open laptop, screen still on, casting a pale, bluish glow that my phony light had drowned out at first. Next to it, 3 envelopes, fat and heavy looking, the edges slightly open, revealing stacks of cash. Not a fortune, but not pocket change either. I moved closer to the laptop. The touchpad was warm under my fingers, as if someone had been using it not long ago. On the screen, a video player was paused on a still frame, a stairwell. My stairwell. The timestamp in the corner was from a few hours earlier. The camera angle was high, maybe from a hidden camera on the ceiling or a peephole lens. In the frame, I saw a familiar shape. My own shoulders, my own backpack, my own walk. Someone had been recording me coming and going in my own building. My chest tightened. My mouth went dry. This wasn't just a random creepy apartment. Whoever lived here had been watching people including me. I don't know why I did it, but my finger twitched and I hit the spacebar. The video moved. I watched myself walk past the camera, unaware, headphones in, eyes half closed with exhaustion. Then I left the frame. The video continued, empty stairwell, a few minutes of nothing. Then someone else appeared. A man in a dark jacket, hood pulled low, followed the same path I had taken. He moved slower, eyes scanning, head slightly tilted like he was listening for something. He stopped at the floor below mine. Turned toward a door. Not my door. My neighbor S. The video froze there, automatically pausing at the end. My reflection stared back at me from the dark screen. I realized my hands were shaking. Before I could think about what any of it meant, I heard it. A sound from the hallway. A soft thud. Then the quiet, unmistakable scrape of a key sliding into a lock. The sound snapped through my brain like a wire being cut. For a split second, I thought. Maybe Ida the wrong apartment and this is just awkward. Some angry tenant will walk in, scream at me, threaten to call the cops. Embarrassing, sure. But survivable. Then I remembered the wall of surveillance photos. The cache. The video of me and my neighbor door. Whatever kind of person lived here, I didn't want to meet them in the dark. Instinct took over. I hit the power button on the laptop, plunging the room back into almost total darkness except for the thin line of light from the hallway. I clicked my phone screen off too, smothering my only comfort. Suddenly, I was blind. The door hinges creaked. Footsteps crossed the threshold. 2 sets, not one. Light from the hallway stretched further into the room as the door opened wider. A man voice, low and annoyed. Why is it dark? Did you leave the laptop on, A second voice, lighter, female. Orlax. Check the wall. We don't a have time for this. A. I held my breath and pressed my back against the cabinet, willing myself to shrink into it. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears so loudly I was sure they hear it too. A switch clicked. A ceiling light flickered weakly, then came to life, casting the room in a flat, yellow wash. From my angle, I could see only a slice of them. Black jeans. Boots. The corner of a leather jacket. The man crossed the room, his footsteps heavy and confident, like he done this walk 100 times. He stopped near the table. I heard the rustle of paper, the soft thud of envelopes being stacked. A is still here. He said. A tomorrow, we move. No more delays. A. The woman made a small, irritated sound. A what about her? She getting nervous. The message wasn't t subtle. A. Oh good. A he answered. A if she scared, she ll pay attention. A. My lungs burned. My mind tried to stitch their words into something that made sense and failed. Message. Horror. Tomorrow. I turned my head just enough to see a narrow angle of their faces reflected in the laptop black screen as it cooled down. I didn't t recognize them. And I wished I never seen them. Because then the woman said something that made my blood freeze. And the guy from downstairs, she asked. Eve one you ve been watching, The man laughed, a short, humorless sound. He just leverage if things go wrong. Leverage. They were talking about me. It felt like the floor tilted under my feet. For a heartbeat, I was certain they could see me. That any second, the man would turn his head, look straight at the cabinet, and pull me out by the throat. Instead, he walked past, toward the wall of photos. I heard him peel one off, the sound of tape reluctantly letting go. S the priority, he said. Will finish what we started, then we disappear. No more recordings, no more visits, no more loose ends. Loose ends. The phrase rang in my head like an alarm. I needed to get out. Not later. Not after I knew more. Now. The hallway door was still open a crack. From where I stood, there was only one path to it, past the edge of the cabinet, around the couch, through their blind spot. If they moved just a little, they see me. My hands were slick with sweat. My legs felt disconnected from my body. But staying wasn't an option anymore. As the woman moved closer to the table, flipping through the envelopes and muttering something about the amount, the man stepped farther down the wall, still staring at the photos. For a second, they were both turned away from the center of the room. That was my chance. I pushed away from the cabinet in one slow, careful motion, trying not to let my shoes squeak against the floor. 1 step. 2. My heart climbed into my throat with each inch. I was halfway to the door when it happened. Something small and hard slid out of my jacket pocket and hit the floor. The sound it made was soft. Barely anything. But in the kind of silence that fills a room where people are planning something illegal, it sounded like a gunshot. Both heads snapped in my direction. For a split second, nobody moved. The three of us just stared at each other, shock painted across every face. I remember the man's eyes first. Cold, pale, calculating. The kind of eyes that went from surprise to dangerous in less than a heartbeat. The woman reacted faster. What Theo? A she started, hand already reaching toward her bag. I didn't wait to see what was inside. I bolted. I lunged toward the door, nearly tripping over the fallen object my carrying, glinting dumbly on the floor like proof that I been there. I heard the man curse, heard the scrape of something heavy, €1, maybe a chair, maybe his boots, €1, as he sprang toward me. Adrenaline makes you faster than you think you are. I flew through the doorway, shoulder smashing into the frame so hard it sent sparks of pain through my arm. The hallway seemed blindingly bright after the dim room. €1, the man shouted behind me. €1, oh stop, €1. Not a chance. I sprinted down the hall, past doors that suddenly felt dangerously thin. My hand slammed into the stairwell door, pushing it open so hard it bounced off the wall. I took the stairs 2 at a time, lungs burning, every step echoing in the concrete shaft like a flare, announcing exactly where I was. Somewhere above me, the man €'s footsteps pounded against the metal steps. He wasn't €t as light as I was, but he was fast. Too fast. 3rd floor. 2nd. I threw myself out onto the 2nd floor landing and flattened against the wall, chest heaving. I pulled the door almost closed, leaving a crack just wide enough to see through. Seconds later, he appeared in the stairwell above, looking down. He paused, listening. I slapped my hand over my mouth, forcing myself to breathe through my nose. Slow. Silent. After what felt like an hour compressed into 10 seconds, he swore under his breath and continued down past my floor. I stayed frozen until his steps faded, then took the stairs in the opposite direction, €1 down, then up again from the other side, looping like a cowardly maze runner, until finally, I reached the floor I actually lived on. The 4th floor. My real floor. My real door. Which, I realized with a sick twist in my stomach, €1 was now standing open too. I almost couldn't €t bring myself to cross the threshold. Part of me was convinced €'d find the same wall of photos, the same table, the same laptop humming with secrets. But it was just my apartment. Messy, small, sad, €, but mine. The lights were on. I definitely hadn't €t left them that way. My shoes by the door had been nudged slightly out of alignment. The coat rack looked just a little too empty, like something had been taken and then replaced with carelessness. Someone had been in my home while I was in theirs. €, I muttered to myself, voice shaking. €, just great. €. I stepped inside anyway. Because where else was I going to go at 2 in the morning? Out into the street in my work clothes, with nowhere to sit and think? There was no safe choice anymore. Just less immediate dangerous options. I checked the obvious places first. Drawers. Closets. Under the bed. No one was hiding. Nothing obvious was missing. But the longer I looked, the more little details started to stand out. One of my mugs had been moved from the sink to the counter. The chair near my small kitchen table had been pulled back, like someone had sat there briefly. A faint ring of moisture near my water bottle, as if someone had touched it with wet hands. These people weren't €t just watching the building. They had access. To my floor. To my door. To my life. I thought about the video. About the man following my path. About him stopping in front of my neighbor €'s door. I thought about the woman in the photo, the word €' scrawled under her face. I should have called the police right then. Instead, I did something much stupider. I sat down, grabbed my phone, and started Googling anonymous crime tip line. Because I wanted help. Just not the kind that required explaining why my fingerprints were in a stranger €'s apartment full of cash and surveillance photos. I didn't €t know it yet, but by the next morning, calling from behind a screen wouldn't €t be an option anymore. Not after what happened to my neighbor. The first sign that something was wrong the next day wasn't €t the sirens. It was the silence. Usually, mornings in my building start with noise. Doors slamming. Kids crying. Someone €'s TV too loud. Somebody dropping something heavy on the floor above my head. That morning, when my alarm went off, the world felt muffled. Like a thick blanket had dropped over the whole building. My first instinct was to call in sick. My head ached from lack of sleep and too many looping, useless thoughts. Instead, I dragged myself up, showered, and tried to convince myself that I imagined half of what happened. The human brain is good at that turning the unbelievable into something you can file under tired, overreacting, nothing to see here. It worked at right up until I opened my door. The hallway was full of police. 2 uniformed officers stood near the stairwell, talking quietly into radios. Yellow tape stretched across the corridor a few doors down, blocking off access to my neighbor S apartment. The door the one I watched on that grainy video the night before was open, but guarded. My heart dropped into my stomach. One of the officers glanced at me. Ozer, you need to stay inside your apartment, he said, not unkindly. Theory S an active investigation. What happened, I asked, my voice sounding thin in my own ears. I already knew I wasn't going to like the answer. He hesitated, then said. Theory S been an incident. Theta S all I can tell you right now. An incident. Behind him, I saw paramedics wheel out a stretcher. The shape on it was covered. I didn't know my neighbor well. We exchanged a few awkward nods in the hallway, shared the occasional complaint about the broken elevator. I knew he worked late. I knew he smoked on the balcony more than was probably healthy. I knew his name was Luca because the building manager said it once while yelling about rent. And now, from the way the paramedics were in rushing, I knew one more thing. He wasn't going to complain about anything ever again. As they rolled the stretcher past, the sheet lifted just enough for me to see a glimpse of his hand. Pale. Still. Too still. The world narrowed, the edges of my vision darkening. I grabbed the doorframe to stay upright. One of the paramedics noticed me, his eyes flicking from my face to the open door of my apartment, then back again. For a second, I thought he was going to say something. Instead, he just nodded, the kind of nod that says, you didn't see anything. You don't want to see anything. He was wrong. I already seen too much. I closed my door and leaned back against it, feeling the cheap would shake slightly with the movement. My brain scrambled, trying to connect last night images with this morning reality. The man following my path on the video. Stopping at Luca S door. The word Isuna written under the woman S face. The envelopes full of cash. The open laptop. And now, Luca was dead. Coincidence is a comforting word. It lets you sleep at night. But staring at my living room, at the chair that had been moved, at the invisible fingerprints of strangers stood where I was standing now, coincidence felt like a lie. I needed to tell someone. But who? If I called the police and told them I been in a strange apartment full of surveillance photos and money, the first question would be, how did you get in? And the answer I walked through the wrong door like an idiot might be true, but it didn't sound innocent. Not to cops who live on suspicion. Also, there was the keyring I dropped. My keys. My house key had a tiny plastic tag with my apartment number on it, from when I first moved in and never bothered to remove it. If they found that in the 5th floor apartment, they already knew I been there. My phone buzzed in my hand. Unknown number. For a second, I considered letting it ring out. But fear has a way of making you pick up calls you shouldn't. Hello, I said. A pause. Then a calm, steady female voice. Mark Novak, I replied slowly. This is Detective Sarah Vokovia, City Police. I'm downstairs, in your building. We re-talking to residents about what happened here last night. D like to ask you a few questions in person. Could you come down, please, My mouth went dry. Last night. So they knew something had happened before I saw the police tape. I heard myself say. LL be right down. As I hung up, one thought crashed through all the noise in my head. They re not just hear about Luca. They re hear about me too. And I had no idea which part of the truth I could afford to tell. The interrogation room was smaller than I expected. No two-way mirror, no blinding lights. Just a metal table, 2 chairs, and a faint buzz coming from the ceiling. Detective Sarah Vokovia sat across from me, calm, controlled, eyes that missed nothing. She didn't start with Luca. She started with me. Tell me about your night, Mark. She said. From the moment you left work. So I told her the clean version. Overtime. The elevator broken. The stairs. Getting home late. Nothing unusual. No strange apartments. No laptops. No photos. No voices. She listened without interrupting. Didn't nod. Didn't write much down. Just watched me. When I finished, she waited a few seconds longer than necessary. Then she said quietly. Ethita interestinga because our cameras show you on the 5th floor at 02:13. My stomach clenched. I must have taken the stairs too far by accident. I said. Tired. Wrong floor. It happens. She leaned forward slightly. She said. It does. But usually people leave right away. I felt sweat roll down my back. Did you leave right away, Mark? The room felt suddenly too warm. I hesitated just long enough for her to notice. I realized it wasn't my floor and left. I said. Sarah studied me. Her eyes flicked down to her notes. Then back to me. Did you see anyone on that floor? She asked. Did you enter any apartment? My mouth opened. Closed. Then opened again. I said. For the first time, something shifted in her expression. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Concern. Mark. She said quietly. Your fingerprints were found on the inside handle of apartment 5D. The number hit me like a punch to the chest. 5D. The surveillance apartment. I started, then stopped. There was no good lie left that didn't dig the hole deeper. She slid a photo across the table. A printed still from a hallway camera. Me. Hand on the door. Stepping inside. The timestamp at the bottom read, 2:14. My heart pounded. I thought it was my apartment. I whispered. I swear. I didn't mean to be there. Sarah didn't accuse. She didn't yell. She just asked the most dangerous question of all. What did you see inside, Mark? I looked down at my hands. The memory of the photos on the wall burned behind my eyes. If I told her everything, I became a witness. If I told her nothing, I became a suspect. So I chose the most human option. I told her part of the truth. A euro I saw a euro photos, a euro I said. A euro e people. Like someone was watching them. A euro. She didn't a euro t blink. A euro e did you see cash, a euro. My head snapped up. A euro ois. A euro. A euro e did you see a laptop, a euro. A euro ois. A euro. A euro e did you see anyone, a euro. I hesitated. This time longer. A euro ois. A euro. Her jaw tightened. A euro how many, a euro. A euro otwo. A euro. A euro e a man and a woman. A euro. That was when the room changed. Sarah stood up slowly and walked to the door. Spoke quietly through it. A moment later, two uniformed officers stepped in. A euro how sure are you about the man and the woman, a euro she asked. A euro 100%, a euro I said. A euro he came in while I was inside. A euro. She nodded once. Then did something I didn't a euro t expect. She sat back down a euro and turned the recorder off. A euro listen to me carefully, Mark a euro she said. A euro what you walked into last night is not a burglary, and a euro is not random. We believe Luca stumbled into a surveillance and extortion operation. Who they are watching and why a euro we euro re still confirming. But you didn't a euro t just witness a crime. You interrupted one. A euro. My throat went dry. A euro so why am I not under arrest, a euro? A euro because a euro she said, a euro you ran instead of stealing the money. And because they were already watching you before you ever saw them. A euro. That landed hard. A euro with a euro ve been tracking multiple tenants in this building, a euro she continued. A euro your movement patterns. Your schedules. Your contacts. Luca was onto them. We believe he was preparing to talk. A euro. A euro and they killed him, a euro I said. She didn't a euro t correct me. A euro believe they silenced him, a euro she said. A euro and now they know you exist. A euro. Silence fell between us like a dropped weight. Then she said the words that truly trapped me. A euro you a euro re not a suspect anymore, Mark. You a euro re bait. A euro. I walked out of the station feeling like I no longer belonged to the city. Like every reflection in every shop window was watching me. Sarah had offered protection. Temporary relocation. A safe apartment. Police presence. I refused. Not because I was brave. Because I was terrified of what would happen to my real apartment if I disappeared too suddenly. If someone vanished once, it might be coincidence. Twice? Panic. So I went home. That evening, my building was quiet again. No police tape. No cameras. No signs of Luca ever having existed. But I knew better. I locked my door. Double-checked the windows. Sat on my couch with the lights off. At 21:43, my phone vibrated. No number. Just a message. A euro saw you at the station. A euro. My stomach twisted. Another vibration. A euro you should have stayed quiet. A euro. Another. A euro she matters more. A euro. An image followed. The woman in the blue coat. This time, the word under her face wasn't a euro t a euro son. A euro. It was. A euro tomorrow. A euro. I called Sarah with shaking hands. A euro he moved the timeline. A euro she said after seeing the image. A euro with the a euro re-accelerating. A euro. A euro where is she? A euro I asked. A euro don't a euro t know yet, a euro she answered. A euro but now we know how they communicate. That gives us a chance. A euro. A euro a chance to do what? A euro I asked. A Euroito catch them using you, a Euro, she said. The truth hit harder than any threat. If I ran, the woman would disappear. If I stayed, I might not survive the night. They weren't a Euro T hiding anymore. They were hunting. And this to me a Euro. They weren't a Euro T watching from behind the wrong door. They were coming straight through the right one. The plan was simple on paper. Theta Euros how dangerous plans always look before people start bleeding. Saraha Euros team traced the message routing through a chain of prepaid relays. Not enough to pinpoint the suspects, but enough to narrow down the area where the woman in the blue coat was being moved. Industrial edge of the city. Warehouses. Scrapyards. Unregistered offices. They believed she was still alive, which meant the clock was ticking. A Euro oihiri a Euro s what a Euro s going to happen a Euro, Sarah said. A Euro will let them think they still control you. A Euro. That night, I left my apartment exactly on schedule. Same jacket. Same backpack. Same route. I became predictable again. And predictable is what predators love. I felt their eyes before I saw anything. Not physically. Not like a shadow in the corner. It was deeper than that. Every car that slowed near me felt like a threat. Every reflection in a window looked like surveillance. My phone stayed silent. Too silent. At 22:17, another message came in. A Euro walk faster. A Euro. My heart spiked. They were close. I didn't a Euro T change pace. Didn't a Euro T look around. Just kept walking like I was still under their leash. Another message. A Euro oh good. A Euro. I passed the crossing near the old freight terminal. The same place Luca had smoked on his balcony facing. The same place their van had been parked on the night he died. And then the third message came in. A Euro Odern left. A Euro. Theta Euro s when Saraha Euro s voice whispered in my earpiece. A Euro Oathea Euro re-guiding you. Keep going. A Euro. The building they led me to didn't a Euro T carry a sign. No windows on the ground floor. Just corrugated metal walls and a door with a keypad. I stopped in front of it. My phone vibrated. A Euro winter. A Euro. A pause. Then a second message. A Euro alone. A Euro. Saraha Euro s breath caught in my ear. A Euro a mark a Euro. A Euro. A Euro I have to. A Euro I whispered. A Euro if I don't a Euro T, she dies. A Euro. I stepped forward. The keypad lit up. A code appeared on my screen. I entered it. The door unlocked with a hollow electronic chirp. Inside, the smell hit me first. Oil. Metal. Old dust. The light flickered on automatically. And there she was. The woman from the photos. The blue coat was gone. Her hands were tied to the chair. Her face was pale but alive. Behind her, the man stepped out of the shadows. A Euro you came, a Euro, he said calmly. From the opposite side, the woman appeared, holding my dropped keyring. A Euro alright on time. A Euro. They thought they controlled the room. That was their mistake. Saraha Euro S team had been inside the building hours earlier. Wired the walls. Flooded the frequencies. Turned their own surveillance against them. The man stepped closer. A Euro dropped the phone. A Euro. I did. It clattered against the concrete. The woman smiled. A Euro oh good boy. A Euro. Theta Euro S when Saraha Euro S voice exploded through the hidden speakers. A Euro E police. Hands where we can see them. A Euro. The room detonated into chaos. The man grabbed for the woman in the chair. The woman lunged for a side door. Shots cracked through the air, €1, not from them. From every direction. They went down in less than 3 seconds. It felt like forever. The woman in the chair was alive. Shaking. Traumatized. But alive. Her name was Anna. They had been extorting her for months. Photos. Movements. Threats. They used Luca first as a watcher. Then killed him when he tried to warn her. I wasn't T leverage. I was the mistake that exposed everything. Their entire network was built on silence and routine. And I broke both by walking through the wrong door. I gave my final statement 2 days later. My apartment was sealed for investigation. My job was postponed indefinitely. My name showed up in internal police reports I was never meant to read. Sarah came to see me one last time. You saved her life, she said. I tried to save my own, I answered. She almost smiled. Before she left, she placed my old keyring on the table. Cleaned. Returned. Next time, she said quietly. Check the floor number. I moved 3 weeks later. Different district. Different building. Different routine. But you don't unsee a wall of photos. You don't forget the sound of a key in a lock behind you. You don't erase the feeling of being hunted. Sometimes I still wake up at night thinking my door is open. Sometimes I swear I hear footsteps in the hallway that stop just outside my room. And every to me €1. Every single to me €1. I checked the number on the wall. Twice. They never rebuilt the 5th floor apartment. The landlord claims there was too much damage. The truth is simpler. Some doors don't get used again once the wrong person walks through them. And I know something now that I didn't know before. It doesn't take a villain to destroy your life. It doesn't take a monster. Sometimes all it takes is being tired. And opening the wrong door.